start recording right now. Take a picture of the screen here. What's my best song? I think this is a good song. Do you know our Facebook does that?
Come on now, we're gonna have myself a real good time. Yeah, we gonna
I think it's facebook.com/film.
drink some milk and wine. Hey, play your piano, boy. Hey.
I was just on it.
Yeah. All right. Fade this music down a little bit. All right. What's up, Who Dat Nation? Thanks for joining us on the Dome Patrol podcast. We figured since everybody decided that they needed to tweet the schedule because they would be the only ones with that content, we decided to take a different spin on it. We're going to go look at the schedule, and Damon and I are going to talk about it. And then we're going to read some of the comments that people made on the Saints Facebook page and see just how smart and or stupid Saints fans can be. Right? Damon, you with us?
I'm here.
Welcome to the show. Are you drunk?
No, I'm working.
I hope so.
But if you're...
I am working on this. I don't know about you, but all right. So the schedule came out yesterday, obviously, right? And
That's correct.
What are we looking at here? We'll skip the preseason. I think one of the first things you noted was there was 4.
In November, we play 4 out of our 6 division games.
Yeah.
So November is going to be hugely important.
That's it, right? I mean,
Right.
dear
It really...
Lord. If you
Yeah,
get, if you that's almost like college. It feels like, doesn't it?
correct. Right. Where you're playing all your conference teams.
Oh yeah, and then that's going to dictate the NFC South.
Undoubtedly, at least for us, I'm not sure what the other teams are doing, but for us, absolutely. I don't think I've ever seen this before. Again, November is only division opponents. That's insane.
And then you get into December and you get San Francisco, which who knows what they're going to be this year. The Colts is a big game. That's a Monday nighter. And they clearly think that the Colts and the Saints are going to be
battling for a playoff spot, no doubt.
Or something, yeah. Or just having 2 juggernauts at the end of the season, right?
Right.
Then Tennessee, which Tennessee could be very well a playoff team as well. And then Carolina. So the last 3 games of the season could also, depending on
Absolutely.
where we are, this is not an easy schedule.
No. Look, I was looking at it. I don't know if you want to kind of break it down.
Yeah.
I was looking at it and thinking this is a 9-7 to 11-5 schedule.
Wow.
Look, okay. We start at Houston on Monday night to open the season. When's the last time we won a fucking week 1 game?
Now it's on Monday night.
Right. So I'm going to pencil that in as a loss. Then we travel to the left coast to play the Rams the next week.
Mm-hmm. And I guess you think they're going to stay there?
I think so, right. Because then week 3, we travel to Seattle. So, right, I believe the Saints will work something out and stay on the East Coast.
Yeah, I would stay.
And not do all the traveling.
Maybe even do I don't know, can you know how in the preseason sometimes they'll practice with another team for a week?
Right. They won't be practicing with another team because that's too hard.
Plus, you're doing game planning for the next week.
Right.
Okay.
So
then,
look, I mean, I see it starting 0-3.
oh fuck, really?
Yeah,
I don't know. I think we could beat the Rams. We would have beaten them. At least
right. I
last
mean,
year, I mean, we are better than that team, or we were. I don't, you don't know what we're going to end up with.
man,
The I feel like they buried that Rams game, the rematch kind of a game, on a Sunday. Granted, it's probably going to be the national game of the Sunday
right,
afternoon, and that's a good game for
right.
that.
They
But I
right.
really
They need good game kicking.
that should have been your Sunday or Monday night. But I
Right.
think they're hiding. I think they're hiding the NFL. They don't want it on Sunday or Monday night because that's way too much negative publicity for them.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
You can put fucking
Uh,
Houston, Saints, Houston, really?
right. Boy, that is a good point because everybody has been saying that it was going to thought it might be the Rams and Saints Monday night because it works out perfect because the East Coast team,
Right.
traditionally over the last several years, the two Monday night games have been on the East Coast, at least the second one because it starts after the first. But yeah, not a fan of it. Again, going to Seattle, tough place to play. I mean, not like it was 4 or 5 years ago when they had
Mm-hmm.
the league in a boom. But again, the NFL, and we hear it all the time. These players are very schedule based. Scheduled,
Yeah,
don't disrupt their schedule. So even
that's right.
having to, even having to stay out there that week is going to,
Yeah.
mess up their schedule. So again,
Right.
I can see it starting 0-3 or at best, in my opinion,
One
two
and
and
two,
one.
or 2-1. We're gonna lose
Well,
one
no,
of those games.
no, you're correct. 1-2, 1-2,
Oh, great.
and but then we come home for a Sunday night game against Dallas.
So, and interestingly, both Texas and Louisiana games, right, are nationally
Or
night
primetime
games.
games.
Yeah.
That's right.
Is that a regional thing, you think, or is that a
No, look, man. Anytime you play Dallas, I mean,
well, with Dallas can't, yeah.
they're huge. So yeah, they put them on prime time. It feels like every week.
Mm-hmm.
But then, so that's September. September. I think, man, if we're 2-2 leaving September, I'll be happy. I'll feel like that's a win.
Okay.
Then you get into October and you go Tampa Bay at Jacksonville at Chicago,
In
home against
Arizona, there's
Arizona.
4-0. It not an easy 4-0, but it's got to be. If you can't do that, if you can't go 4-0 and not stretch, the season's over. Because then you after I love coming, I love playing Atlanta at home after the bye week. Love it.
Right. Right. But let's not. Well,
But you've
let's stay
got
in
to
October.
win. But you have to, if you're going 1-2 or 2-2 in the first quarter of the season, you have to go
Right.
4-0 in the next quarter because the last 8 games are not going to be easy.
Right. Well, but even like this October, if we go 3-1, and then that would put us at five and
Five and
three
three.
going into the bye week. Week
Okay.
8, setting us up for a 10-6 season.
Yeah.
Then you're right.
Okay.
Then we get, I guess, the perfect bye because it's week 8. That's kind of where you want it midway through
Mm-hmm.
your season.
Mm-hmm.
Then, like you said, then we play Atlanta
Atlanta.
at home, coming off a bye.
That's got to be a win.
Has to be a win.
And
All right.
then Tampa should be a win. Panthers at home should be a win.
Agree with that.
I'm
Agree.
not. I'm not. I don't even know what Carolina did this offseason. It seems like nothing. I haven't
To
heard anything.
improve.
Right.
Yeah,
And then Atlanta Thanksgiving night again. Correct me
of
if I'm
course.
wrong. Do you remember what was the ratings of the Saints Falcons Thanksgiving night? Was it one of the most watched Thanksgiving night games
Uh,
ever?
Jeff, I don't remember. I can't. But obviously, I mean, they put Saints Atlanta on prime time just about every year.
Yeah.
Everybody gets the rivalry and understands it. I But this will be 3 out of 4 going on the road for Thursday night football.
3 out of 4.
You know,
Yeah.
yeah, years in a row. Not a fan of that. I mean, the road team has a distinct disadvantage on a short
But
week having to travel.
but I'm gonna tell you, I like having. I like that your Thanksgiving is your Thursday. You know that you're not
Hmm.
getting a Thursday in early November or even in October. Like you know what I mean? Like because it doesn't feel like you're getting forced into a Thursday game. You're playing on
Right.
Thanksgiving. I don't. Maybe it's a psychology in my own mind that doesn't make a difference,
I get that.
but it is the fact. Yeah, on the road in Atlanta after a hard fought Carolina game.
Hmm. Hmm.
It's yeah, this is what they do to us every year, it feels like. They send us
Yeah,
to Atlanta on a Thursday night after,
100%. Yeah.
and remember that year that we did like a Monday night game against, was it Dallas? And then we had the Thursday night or something. It was something weird. Well, maybe they wouldn't have done that. It was Sunday night. And then we had to play Thursday.
Right.
So it was kind of like the shortest amount of time anybody could possibly have. They
Right.
were throwing whatever. But I'll take it. Atlanta on Thanksgiving night, that's
Yeah.
fun. That's good pumpkin
No doubt.
pie, pecan pie eating, celebrating, Dirty Bird eating. I mean,
Right.
I
Okay.
loved that game this year, so I want another one of those.
Okay. So that's November. We had talked a while ago. Excuse me. That so that's a big time for us, and so let's say we're 5-3 going in, to the bye coming into November. How do you see us going? Atlanta, Tampa,
God.
Carolina, Atlanta.
Win, 4-0.
On the 4-0. Well,
So that's an
well.
8-0 stretch right there for me. Yeah.
All right. All right. Again, I see it splitting with Atlanta. I can see us going 3-1 there. I can see us going 3-1.
Okay. I think more realistic because yeah, okay. So 2-2, 3-1, 3-1. So you were
Man, look
you
at
were five and
that.
three, six, seven,
Right.
8-4 now. 8-4.
8-4. Eight and
Okay.
four is a good. You know,
All
don't
right.
think we'll be fighting for home field advantage like we were last year,
Right.
but the strong playoff schedule. I mean, number right there.
Okay. So then you
So
got the last four in December, which is the 49ers and the Colts at
at,
home.
right, both of them at home. I like that.
Hmm.
Both at home. I think both winnable games in the Superdome. So
Yes.
that would
And then
be.
that should be 2 wins. The Colts
Hmm.
might be a loss.
Colts could be a loss, but I like what in the dome, prime time, Sean Payton, Monday night.
Yeah, that's his
You know,
thing. That is his
get
thing.
get get the dome rolling and rocking, and
That is true. The Colts are beatable. They're not
oh, 100%.
invincible. So yeah, I think we can win those 2 games. Then you go to Tennessee. That could be a little bit of a trap game. That Titans game, in a sense that
Right,
you're up for the Colts. You got to prepare for Carolina next, especially
right,
if you're, what do you call it? If you're fighting Carolina for the NFC South title, right? So
right,
that
right,
Titans game is one that you overlook because you have those same. Not that the Titans are bad and they could catch you off guard. It's just you're not. That's not the game you care as much about,
right, right.
and they will be good, I think. So I'm worried about that game. Okay, so then you say, what do you go? You go 4-0, right? I'm worried about that game, but we'll still win, and we're going to be 4-0. Hey, shout out to Todd Bourgeois. He is watching right now instead of working. Good for you.
Todd seems to be our
Or
consistent
one viewer.
viewer. Yeah.
So yeah, if you got anything to say about it, Todd, go ahead and type it in there, and we can
Right.
discuss. But let's see. Right now, what were we coming into this last 4 games?
We're coming in at
8-4.
right. No, yeah, eight
Yeah,
and four.
8-4. Say another 3-1.
Yeah, I think so. Like I said, San Fran, Indy at home should be wins, and then
11-5. So, or that in that Carolina game, you may, let's say we already have it locked up, you throw it away. So 10-6. I could, I think a realistic expectation. I think you were right
uh,
before we went into this. 9-7,
mhm.
10-6, 11-5.
Right, right. Depending on, like you said, depending on how the Carolina game goes, what it means to us and them at the end of the year.
Hmm.
Um, Obviously, the NFL schedule makers over the last couple of years don't think very much of Atlanta because I haven't looked at it, but trust me, they're playing Bay all week 16 or 17 games are against division opponents. and obviously the schedule makers think the Saints and Carolina are the two that's going to be
Right.
fighting
So
for the division.
yeah, absolutely. You could see that in
Because
this.
I don't think anyone's believing that Tampa is going to be fighting.
Poor Tampa. I mean, I like it, but yeah.
Right,
All right. So in addition to that, we've got 4 nationally televised nighttime primetime games. All
right.
of them home except for the Thanksgiving one in Atlanta. I like that. Like they clearly like showing the Superdome crowd,
Sure,
the
sure,
feeding
and that's something
station.
that's been different the last couple of years. A lot of our primetime games have been away.
Yeah. Well, and then they probably saw what happened in the playoffs when they, oh, wait a minute, I
Right,
forgot. This is the loudest stadium, and these fans are the best, and this
exactly.
team is fun to watch. And when they do air these games, New Orleans tunes in, obviously.
And the nation
Uh,
will tune in.
yeah. And then the other thing is you're pretty sure I could see, for example, that Carolina game at the end of the year, if we are fighting for the spot, that gets flexed to the featured
Could be.
game. Um, I could see another flex. Could be the early. It could be the early Carolina game. The Colts or not the Colts. The Titans game could be flex. I mean, there's a few opportunities to flex up at the end of the season too. So the Saints will, if we're playoff like we should be, then the country is going to get a lot of Saints action at the end of the season. I mean, you got the Falcons
Right.
and the Colts guaranteed. Definitely one of those other games are going to get flexed up. That's 3 out of 5 weeks that the Saints are going to get national exposure. Fitz just commented on the Facebook stream. We did mention this when we started, but maybe nobody was watching. He also shocked that the Saints Rams game is a week 2 regular and not. And we had said that on top as well. We feel like the NFL buried that game on purpose because they're too scared of the negative publicity that they're going to get whenever it's nationally televised. But we do think because it's that 3:30 game, it could be that afternoon game where it's the national game on the afternoon. I mean,
Right.
they have to show that game to the country. They just aren't going to put it on prime time because
Well, yeah, yeah.
because you're not going
Like
to
you said,
have I don't even know who it is, and like you're not going to have Tony Romo or whoever somebody to sit down and spend a week interviewing all the players about this. You know what I mean? You're not going to get that.
right. No, well, like you said, I think they're going to want to bury it.
Yep.
Not they're going to
Absolutely.
absolutely. Yeah, let's not, because I mean, my goodness, how many times do you think they're going to mention the NFC Championship game during that broadcast?
That's all they're gonna. How many times do you think we ought to do a drinking game for it? Like every time they show
Right,
the clip of the interference, you have to take a drink.
right.
So, by the way, you like this mug? This is one of my kids gave it to me for Christmas 2 years ago. He painted it himself. It's his
Nice.
Saints mug he made for me. Two-toned. It's even on the inside. He painted black and gold on
Wow,
the inside. Pretty good. Good job.
wow, pretty good. Did he
And
use
then
lead paint?
that explains a lot.
He might have used
He
lead
did
paint.
put his and my initials on the bottom because he has the
Right.
same initials as me. All right, so
Mm.
that's some good job there. Hey, Debbie's watching. What's up, Debbie? All
Hey,
right,
Debbie.
and then we
Hey,
got now we're gonna move into something new. We're gonna try out here the comments that fans have made on the right side here, and these are comments on the Saints channel. They posted the schedule, so let's read and react. Maybe that'll be a segment. Read and react, right? So let's see. Love this NFL football schedule. Go Saints coming to Florida. Cool, thanks. Okay. That looks pretty easy. Regular season. I got us at 14-2. This guy's one of those either a new Saints fan or an eternal
yeah,
optimist.
yeah.
Fitz and Todd and Debbie, if you guys are still watching there, give us what is your prediction for a record based on this schedule. I think Damon and I came up with anywhere between 9, 10, or 11 wins. You want to see the replies these people wrote on that? Let's see. We won't finish that. Blah blah blah. Could
Yeah,
lose two
yeah,
of the first 4 games. Yep, there's Zach. Somebody said they agreed
yeah.
with you on that.
Mm-hmm.
They'd be doing great if they came out of week 7 at 4-3. Yep. Let's see. All right, keep going. The team has had a ton of trouble winning their first game and their last game. Well, the last game, I mean, you can't really mess with all that, right?
Right. Especially
Uh,
last year it was done. I mean,
yeah.
Terry started. So
Fitz said 12-4, by the way. Let's see. Lucky we don't have to play the Bengals this year. And then he put the laughies in there.
right.
I'm glad we don't have to play Cleveland, to be honest with you. This is a tough
Yeah.
schedule. Yeah. This one says Terrence needs that we can beat New England. They wasn't showing any love with the schedule. I mean, this is the thing about the schedule where I've seen a few people make comments like that. Why? Why? Hey, Scott, thanks for watching as well. Why people were saying like, why do we have to play the Rams again, or why do we have? It's a tough schedule. It's part of the narrative that the NFL is against the
But
Saints, and that's
but that
ridiculous.
right
There's
is
a
ridiculous
formula.
because look, I mean, look. For those of y'all who don't know, the schedule is made up years in advance. You play your division twice. You play one division in your conference, one division in the other conference, and then you play the top tier teams that you finish with in uh, in your conference.
Right. So the
So
only two games.
that's
There's
why we
only
get the Rams.
Right. There's only
Oh no,
two games that are unknown,
or
right?
separate. Right,
Right. You
right,
can
right,
predict the schedule for the next infinity years because it's the rotation of the
right,
four
right,
teams,
right.
four
All
teams.
but two are the same.
There's two freaking games, and it's based on where you land and where they land in their
Right, and
respective
so
division.
those two different games would be Dallas because they finished first in their division. And
Yep.
who was the other? And who was
The
the? And
Rams.
Chicago. No, Chicago. No, 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 because we play the NFC West.
Oh,
So
that's
we
right.
play
That's right. That's right.
the
Okay.
Rams,
So yeah,
Seattle,
it's the
Arizona.
Bears. Yeah, the
Right,
Bears.
right. The Bears and Dallas.
Yeah.
So right. Uh,
Okay. And that's the way it is. So
mhm.
there you have it. All right, so more comments coming in. Fitz did say he's the optimist guy. That's why he's saying 12-4. Greenbaum wants to take a road trip to Jacksonville. Whew.
That might be. Let's see. Yeah,
Sunday,
Jacksonville might.
October 13th.
That would be. That's a good idea. Because if you, those who listen, I don't know how much we talked about behind the scenes, but we thought Tennessee would be a good game to go to, very close, drivable game from New Orleans. But with it being 3 days before Christmas, I think kind of puts it out of contention.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, that's a tough one to go to.
Yeah, 3 days before Christmas. I mean, yeah.
All right, all right, so the more comments over here. Nothing like 4 division games in a row. That's Valerie said that. Flight and hotel booked for LA, Aaron Drake. Let's see. Michael Lumia, somebody needs to teach this kid how to say it. He said, who dat say they are gonna beat them Saints? Who dat? Who dat? Who dat say they are gonna beat them Saints? Kid, you went to private school, I guess.
Right.
All right, let's see. I'll be seeing my Saints on September 15th. Michael Perez said that. Realistically, we could go 7-1, even 8-0 before the bye. Okay, now that dude beat Glenn with the optimism.
Yeah.
Saints better buckle that chin strap tight this year. I don't know what schedule y'all looking at. If the Saints slip up, they 8-8 easy. Now that guy's a realist.
Right.
Let's see. This schedule may look easy, but we all have to remember other teams have made moves in the offseason. Also,
Right.
Stephen Jones, good point. Brandy Fontenot wanted those Rams in the dome. Yeah, I think we did too.
Well,
But we knew they weren't going to be the home
correct.
game
Right.
anyway.
Right. 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 Again, like we had said, your schedule for 14 out of your 6 games are already who and where you're going to play is already determined.
Yeah. Now here's one. This one Shannon says this is how the NFL sticks it to us. Now this look, if you listen to the show, you know how we feel about the NFL. But I'm gonna like this is where you lose your credibility when you go with shit like this. She's saying on 3 separate occasions the Saints must travel on back-to-back weeks. Well, also we have a Dallas Tampa home game back-to-back weeks. We have San
Right.
Fran
Right.
Indy home game back-to-back weeks. We have 3 of our 4 nationally primetime games home games. I mean, I think
Right.
Courtney.
Right. And if you look from October 27th to November 10th, there's a bye in there, but right. Those are back-to-back home games.
Yeah,
Right. So
and you're right. You
you
get the
do the
bye
same
before
thing.
Atlanta. Yeah, I mean,
Right.
there's an old saying: those inclined to get their panties in a bunch will get their panties in a bunch. And I think that's kind of
Right.
like these people. I get
No,
it.
right.
Yes, the NFL
Right. You're
has
right.
problems, but shit, man, like don't make everything a conspiracy.
No. Just like we go on the road 3 times. Dallas, Tampa's back-to-back home. Arizona, Atlanta's back-to-back home. San Fran, Indianapolis is back-to-back home. So we stay. Yeah,
Yeah.
it.
Well, the NFL's trying to screw the Saints. They're making us play Atlanta one time in Atlanta.
Right. Yeah, that's not really right. You're letting your wine get a little too much to you. I get November just playing all division opponents. That's the one thing I look at like, wow, really? That's
Yeah, right.
because God forbid you get a key injury during that stretch. You know,
hmm
it puts you at a huge disadvantage.
This guy, Cody Getz, says no one can tell me that a Saints Rams opening game of the year would not have been the most watched game in the history of opening weekend. Convince me
Hundred
otherwise.
percent.
I agree. Like
100%.
not even the Monday night game like the Texans is, but like that Thursday night opening game,
Hmm.
like the first game of the year, that should have been Saints Rams. But again,
Well,
they
they're
don't
doing
want that.
right. They're doing Green Bay, Chicago. It's the first time since they started opening the season on a Thursday night that the Super Bowl team isn't involved in it.
Yeah, what's with that decision? Do you know anything behind that? And hey,
It's
Biven's
it.
watching. Hey, what's up, Biven? Thanks for not working.
Hey, Vivid. It has
It's
something. It
amazing.
has
We get more.
something.
Wait, hold on. We get more viewers during work hours than we do when we stream live
At
at
night,
nighttime. Yeah, that's because people are too busy watching Survivor, I guess, or something.
I guess. But I think the Green Bay, Chicago, it has something to do because they are the longest ongoing rivalry game in the league. So I'm sure it's some sort of anniversary, like the 100th year they played, or something like that.
Yeah.
That's why it's them. I don't know what number it is, but it's something like that because they've been playing each
All
other.
right. All right. Yeah, it's a little historical. Yeah.
Right. It's
Okay.
going to be something like that.
That's fair. I'll give them
Hmm.
that. Plus, I mean, like, I think.
Plus, the Patriots play on Thursday night every year. I mean,
Right,
my
I was
God,
gonna say.
they just when they said, "Well, we're just tired of seeing the Patriots." All they do is open the season.
Right. All right. Scott Greenbaum texted on the live stream. I still don't think they'll be over what happened to them at the end of the season. 7-9, 8-8 at best. They have the talent to do better, but half the game is 90% mental. So he thinks that the NFC Championship game is gonna be a problem for the Saints. That it's gonna kind of get stuck in us. It's a way to look at it, but Drew Brees is better than that, isn't he?
Well, right. Well, and I think we proved it last year. I mean, even though we lost to Tampa, Tampa was on a hell of a streak early on with Fitzmagic. But I don't think it's going to be. I think we can move past it, just like we moved past the Minnesota Miracle. Last year. I'm more so that Sean Payton doesn't know how to have the team ready for Week 1. I said that last year, and I'm still tooting that horn.
Yeah. Chris Miller Light says, that dude's name, Chris Love Miller Light. That's his name on Facebook. It says, screw divisions. This year we want the Rams 16 times. All right, let's see. This one undefeated. We going to ram and L down the Rams' throat. Should have had us play New England in the first. Yeah, I don't know about all that. That's random. And the road to the Super Bowl begins. Michael Heaton, he says, important games at Rams, Cowboys, Bears, Falcons, Colts, Titans. That's what he's picked. What would you say? All right, that's a good little game. What's the important games? If you had to pick 5 of the most important games, cannot lose. Clearly, Atlanta is one of them.
Right,
At
and
least one of the
Carolina,
Atlanta,
because
and one
I
of the
think
Carolinas.
Carolina.
Well, shit, you
But I
could
can
say all
see.
the division games in that case, right?
Well, not really Tampa. I mean,
Well, you don't want
but
to
yeah,
back
but
division record.
right, no, but
But
right, but you have to win your division to get into the playoffs. But
okay, so you
but
got
right,
2 of them wrapped up in the
right,
Carolina and
and then
Atlanta.
right, and then I would look at Dallas and Chicago because they're looking to
Yeah,
probably lead their divisions and they'll be in a playoff, fight with them.
yeah.
We don't have to play Green Bay, which who I think will be okay.
And I would say the Rams.
Hmm.
I mean, the Colts Titans, I don't put them as important games because they're AFC teams, but maybe important from the standpoint of, especially
Well,
if the Colts are like whatever, if they're like two losses by that point or three losses by that point, and they're a juggernaut, you want to be able to beat them just for the boost
no,
and
I
confidence.
mean, I guess and it's not exciting, but formatically, right? Your division is important, and then the last four games of the year, but you're assuming that you'll be in a tight race
Yeah, yeah,
uh, to make the playoff spot. So, right, the Colts will be, and they were good last year. They were badass,
yeah,
and
exactly.
so was Tennessee.
That's true. All right, then Greenbaum asked, "Did y'all see the Falcons Game of Thrones schedule release?"
I thought it was cute. I liked it.
It's the one good thing that has come out of Atlanta.
Right, right. I thought it was cute. And again, Jeff and I were talking about it before we started the stream. Uh, to me, it looks like they are acknowledging that we got screwed.
Yeah,
Maybe they're making
Atlanta
fun
kind
of
of
it.
threw that, yeah,
Right,
or
right,
making fun of it, like, haha,
right. But that's fine. That doesn't bother me. Like if they were making fun of the Minnesota Miracle,
yeah.
that got under my that would irk me or tweak me.
And I'll
But
be honest, did you see? I think San Diego did a good one, or shit, not San Diego, LA now. The Chargers, did you see theirs?
uh
They did. They it was pretty cool. It was like, should we make our schedule video using only stock footage? And it was no, 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 but in the shape of yes, or so, or yes, yes,
oh
yes, 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 in the shape of no, right? The text and all that.
okay.
And then the video, it was like you went through all their games, and it was literally just stock footage, like from like iStock or something like that. It was actually pretty funny.
Oh, okay,
But they did
okay.
do
Not
it where it was like thematically, like if it were like the Broncos, then it would show like
right.
stock footage of a cowboy with a horse or something like that. And now I also like the
Oh,
subtlety
funny.
they did as division rivals. They threw out there it was the back of the horse, so like the horse's butt, and then
Right.
they did. Now what was interesting though is they did when they got to the Chiefs because they had the Chiefs twice. They showed a chef,
Oh,
not
did they?
a
Okay.
Native American. And I feel like that was a bit of a safe, I think they did it. For one, you could say they did it. Jason always likes to call them the chefs.
Right. Well, I
I
think
think a
that's
lot
a
of people
division
do.
rival. Right. Like they call us the Aints or
Yeah.
the
Okay.
man.
I thought they were
I,
just scared and trying to be PC. Like we can't put a Native
no,
American on there.
I think calling them the chefs is a
Okay. It's an
is
insult, if you will.
right.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And then yeah, because when they did the Raiders, it was like a kid in like a Halloween costume as a pirate. You know.
Uh,
But then I saw the Saints one, and I'm gonna tell you what. Last year, I think it was, or the year before. Remember they did all the crawfish that were wearing the little tiny helmets. You
oh
remember that
no.
one? Oh, you don't remember that sketch? Oh, that was
No. I
awesome.
never saw it. That must be
It
the
was
thing.
awesome.
Then.
It
Okay.
was so each week they had like a crawfish walking, and they had like the little plastic helmets of the team that we were playing. It was
Yeah.
the best thing ever.
Oh,
And
it
then
was live. It was live crawfish,
yeah,
not animated.
yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, and or sometimes they would wear the helmet, sometimes it was in there, and like, it was different positions and stuff, or whatever. So this year, I was very disappointed in what the Saints did. Like, I don't know, and like this, I don't know why I feel this way, but it's almost becoming a little cliche and played out. They did the jazz music, just like I did with opening the show, actually. So,
Sure.
like your Preservation Hall jazz music, whatever, and
Hmm.
then the brass band, and then it was it was almost stock footage in but all New Orleans. Like it was, oh, it's Jackson Square, oh, it's beignets and
Okay.
coffee, hey, it's Mardi
Okay.
Gras, hey, it's all the New Orleans iconography, whatever.
Iconic.
Yeah, but I'm sitting at everybody else when they do them. Like if you're playing the Texans, whatever the video is behind it is related to the Texans or the Rams. It's Ram like. This
Mm-hmm.
was just New Orleans shit with New Orleans music, and it just put the text over it that showed whatever. I don't know. It just felt uninspired and lazy. And I just lost your video. I don't know if I lost your audio. You might have had a call to go to, so I'm gonna have to carry the show. Oh shit! Somebody say something. All right. Let's see. We'll just keep reading some of these until we wait for Damon to get back. Could very well not win a game in September. And honestly, that's not. I don't think that's a crazy statement either. I think Houston opening game, weaker point. The fact that it's Houston and they're actually pretty good now, or at least should be. The Rams, I do think we win that game. I think there's no way the Saints could lose that game, so I don't know about all that. I've talked myself out of it. Seattle, we could lose that. Dallas, we could lose it if they're good, but it's at home, so I kind of feel like that ultimately could be a win. Saints have a good chance at winning the last 6 games. There's one like that. Proud to be a Saints fan. Payback on the 15th of September. Yep, everybody seems to be kind of lasering in on the Rams. First 4 games are brutal. Agree. Schedule was tougher than last year, or was tougher last year. I don't know that I agree with that. I feel like this schedule, there's not really an easy week. Where last year we had that 8-game stretch that was hard, but a little bit before and a little bit after may not have been as intense. Although it did seem to, those last couple of games, except for the Carolina game, where Terry Bridgewater took care of things, sort of. Saints have to go on the road for all NFC division champ games. Talking about the Seahawks, Bears, and Rams. Yep, that's true. Good observation. Somewhat favorable schedule for who, Chris? I don't know. Talk about running the gauntlet. Yeah, now this person gets it. This has to be one of the top 3 toughest schedules. Only gonna make victory even sweeter. All right. Anybody got any final comments before we cut the stream? I think we're pretty much exhausted on the schedule. It doesn't look like Damon's gonna be coming back, so I'm gonna end it pretty soon. 4 division rival games in a row. We get to cook them dirty birds. We'll read a few more of these and then we'll kind of shut her down. Where's the Browns and the Bengals? Eric Holdsworth. I don't know. Where's your knowledge of how NFL schedules work? Gabe Jones. Drew needs to throw 3 passes on our first possession of this year, straight in the ref's mouth. Didn't see that. He button hooked us on that one. My nerves are not ready yet, says Allison Valderrama. Oh, damn. Damon left it, and I got bigger on the thing. All right. I'm saying we're going 13-3 again. Thanks. I cannot wait. Would like to see the Cowboys and the Saints. Pamela, well, get on Ticket Spice or whatever and buy yourself some tickets. All right. Always giving the Saints a hard schedule. Well, Johnny, you can't really control that. We've talked about that as well. And then, dang, well, the Saints got a hard season. Where are we partying in Seattle? I'm actually surprised that there's not as many crazy, as Buddy D would call them, squirrels commenting on here. There's a lot of just standard, that's a tough schedule. Look at the Rams. So the Saints fans on Facebook seem to be kind of measured in their response. A few outliers, but overall, I don't know. It's going to be an interesting year. It's all going to depend on if we can stay healthy throughout, I guess, and what these other teams and how their seasons play out. You always think people are going to be a certain way, but in reality, you never know. For example, Tennessee and San Francisco could totally flop at the beginning of the season. A key player could get hurt. You don't know what's going to happen. This is what it is, though. I like the balance, though, of home and away. I like the bye week in the center. I like the national games at home. I like the schedule. I mean, forget about how hard or easy games might be. I like the cadence of the schedule. I know the ticket holders like Jason and Damon, they like to have 12 o'clock games on Sundays. But as a TV viewer, I really enjoy those night games. Michelle Laborde, hey, thanks for watching. Good to see you. I saw your Hawaii pictures on Facebook. Looks like you guys had some fun. But in the meantime, I think we are going to close this scheduled talk. You joined just at the end. But we're gonna do a few more of these kind of impromptu live stream short pieces in between the regular shows, and see if that can't be something rather than have to wait a week or 2 weeks in between the full long version on your podcast app. We will post this on the podcast app though too. So don't forget, follow us on Twitter. Make sure you pay attention to our Facebook lives, and make sure you download on the podcast app. In the meantime, this is your Dome Patrol podcast. I will be ending the stream in about 3, 2, and 1.